Hey, what's up, YouTube crew? This is Vinicius Mateus speaking, and today I'm bringing you another video here on the VMGAMEDROID channel, guys. Well, guys, in this video, I'm bringing you all PlayStation 3 running on a cell phone through Winlator GLBC 7.1.2, alright? If you enjoy this content, leave a like, it's super important. If you're new here, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos, alright? Don't forget to follow our social media, linked in the description. Our Discord group keeps you updated on new videos and live streams on our live channel, so it's crucial to stay connected. That's it, guys. Watch the full video because it's really cool and worth checking out. I saw this content on LGJ Gamer's channel. Sending you a big hug and a shout out. And also based on some community tests from a few months ago, right? Tech Authority Kira ended up testing the new PlayStation 3 emulator on the box. This time we're going to be playing PlayStation 3 RPCS 3 through Winlator, guys. So it's really cool. Leave a like, comment down below, and share this video because it's really awesome. Enough talking, let's get to the video. Well, guys, RPCS 3 is hard to emulate even on a PC, right? Recently, it became more stable with some games on the heaviest emulator we have for consoles, which is the PlayStation 3 Emulator. I managed to run a few games here. Of course, there are some games that basically don't run, but I did some really cool tests that you'll be able to check out in the gameplay, alright? Yeah, right at the start here, I tested Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2. It actually ran fine on the main menu and even on the character selection screen, but it didn't start any gameplay, man. I managed to get some pretty good frames per second during the game. Most of the games did open, right? But unfortunately, I couldn't play Dragon Ball Raging Blast 1 and 2, guys. I tried some specific settings. I tried running it in Vulkan on the emulator. I tried running it in OpenGL. But unfortunately, Dragon Ball Raging Blast didn't open, man. And as for our dear Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit, man, I was able to play it. It was playable, but the graphics ended up bugging out with the resolution, with the rendering in OpenGL, right, man? In Vulkan, the frames per second were very low, causing significant lag. However, in OpenGL, I was able to get a pretty fast frame rate, a stable frame rate. However, the quality of the environment ended up bugging out, unfortunately. The environment ended up getting all messed up. As you can see, I managed to run a PlayStation 3 game here with a pretty stable frame rate on RPCS 3 through Winlator. It ran at 25 frames per second, 22 frames per second. It's an emulator inside another emulator, right, guys? Emulation on top of emulation, layer on top of layer, man. So it's probably going to be too heavy. Clearly, it's really heavy, man. It even makes our phone overheat. Another game I tested that ran really well, guys, was GeForce, alright? Basically, it's a little Disney game, alright? It likely draws inspiration from a movie. The game was very stable and playable, running at around 30 frames per second while screen recording. Really awesome performance, guys. 40 frames per second. Without recording the screen, man, it even reaches 60 frames per second. So it's pretty smooth, really nice. The gameplay was easy to play using the gamepad controller, alright? On RPCS 3 itself, yeah, I set up the gamepad to run the games smoothly and managed to get some really cool gameplay with it, man. It was very playable. It's a light game, right? These lighter games we can run just fine here, yeah, through emulation, on top of emulation. And this GeForce here, man, is a really light game that I've seen a lot of people testing, and usually it runs, yeah, easily on the PlayStation 3 emulator, man. And it was no different here. It got a pretty stable frame rate here, man. Very playable, and I really enjoyed it. Just a reminder, the resolution here is all set to the minimum, okay? It's at 720p, yeah, the resolution, but the render scale here is at the lowest possible, and it was very playable, guys. It turned out really nice here on the PlayStation 3 emulator, this little GeForce game, man. Another game I tested here, guys, was a PlayStation 3 exclusive, right, which is Naruto Shippuden Storm Generation, man. This game here is exclusive to PlayStation 3, and I ended up testing it on my phone, but it ran with a very low frame rate, man. As shown in the gameplay, it ran extremely slow at only 9 to 10 frames per second. The quality dropped a lot. But it's already something, right, man? We can see here that it's possible to run PlayStation 3 games and emulation on top of emulation. The PlayStation 3 emulator isn't natively on the phone, and even so, it's playable. Some games, right? Of course, this Naruto Storm Generation here isn't playable, right? But it opened and we managed to get it running here. to do a really slow gameplay. But we can see that at least it opened, right, man? This is already a surprising breakthrough for future programmers. Who knows? To think about creating a PlayStation 3 emulator for mobile would be a huge success. This game ran flawlessly on it. Is another lightweight game, man. This one was Ice Age 3 Ice Age here, look. It's the one with the dinosaurs, man. It ran really beautifully. Very playable, really nice looking, man. It runs at 60 frames per second. When recording the screen, the frames per second drop a bit more, obviously, right? Because it gets pretty heavy, you know, guys. Screen recording too. In terms of rendering during your gameplay, it hit around 40 frames per second, 30 frames per second. It kept varying, okay? At the lowest resolution, it dropped to 20, but it remained stable and was really cool to play. You could even increase it further. This Ice Age game is really chill. Increasing the rendering made the cutscenes look great. The gameplay was cool and very playable. It's one of the few games here that run well in emulation on top of emulation, you know. Sierra 3 is lightweight and has a PlayStation 2 version. I'm playing the PlayStation 3 version, which looks a bit more polished and nicer. And this one was very playable, as you can see in the footage there, man. Very stable, and the graphics look really nice too. And really fun to play in the gameplay, a game that passed the test, a really cool game. And it's worth trying on your phone if you want to, alright? Guys, I tested Federación Internacional de Fútbol Association Street on PlayStation 3, but it didn't launch. It stuck compiling shaders. And it ended up not opening. I tried several specific settings, but unfortunately Federación Internacional de Fútbol Association Street didn't open, guys. An important detail to point out is that whenever you open your game for the first time, it's going to compile shaders here, pixel processing unit, so it's going to take about half an hour to an hour, man, from 30 minutes to an hour for you to start your game for the first time, alright? So the first time takes a while, but after you've started it the first time, you can get into your game quickly once the shaders have already been compiled, alright? Guys, something really surprising here that I couldn't leave out, of course, is God of War 3, man. This game is actually heavy even for a PC, to emulate on a PC. Imagine playing God of War 3 on a phone. It recently became playable on the PlayStation 3 emulator for PC. Since I'm crazy, I tested it on my phone and it ran at an amazing 2 frames per second, but at least it opened. If it opened, that means it runs, right? So I managed to test God of War 3 here, but man, I just went through the very beginning. I activated the game patches here to remove cutscenes, remove a bunch of stuff, man, disabled a lot of things. I set the graphics to the absolute minimum, and I managed to get into God of War 3 using OpenGL rendering, man. With Vulkan, I could only get to the menu. But with OpenGL rendering, I was at least able to get into the gameplay part, but it was completely unplayable, right, man? But as we can see here, just getting into the game, man, I already think that's a huge step forward, because it's important to remember, man, we're not running the PlayStation Emulator 3 directly on the phone, right? We're running the PlayStation 3 emulator inside a PC emulator that's running through the phone's processing. So, man, this is surreal. Just the fact that it even started up is already a symbolic step forward, right? For the future, and for sure, man, the future promises us great things. Who knows? PlayStation 3 emulation, nothing seems impossible anymore, man. We're already running PC games natively with great quality without needing crazy expensive phones, man. With a phone that costs just a couple thousand, you can already run a lot of games. You don't need a 10,000 real phone like most people say. A lot of people say, oh, to run that, you need a National Aeronautics and Space Administration phone. No, man, Winlator is really optimized and a lot of phones are able to run PC games in high quality, man. So forget about that. Whoever says that is just a hater. They just don't want to admit that mobile is growing more and more. In every emulation video we post, there's always someone who comments about it. I'd rather play on PC, I'd rather play somewhere else, I don't know. So go buy a PC, man. What are you doing watching mobile content, dude? I couldn't leave out the settings for you guys that I used here on RPCS3, alright guys? I used some basic settings here for you to play, and these were the settings I used here, guys, on the latest version of RPCS3. Here in Central Processing Unit, I didn't change anything. Basically what I changed was here, look, recompiler, assembly, alright? The only thing I changed. And there, in Central Processing Unit block size, I set it to safe and automatic. Here in GPU, I left the rendering on Vulkan Turnip and Adreno there. I'll just set everything to the minimum here. You leave anti-aliasing disabled and set shader quality to low and set it to ZQ accuracy approximate, okay? Set it to faster. I use the resolution 720p. Advanced, man, I enabled these options here: pixel processing unit, non-pixel processing unit, SPU, and silence out logs, okay? I left these options enabled. Here in Vulkan, I set it to fast. For the two options there, I set them to fast and automatic for the third option. Basically, that's all you need to change, guys. There's no big secret. There's no mystery here. In the settings, okay? And of course, if you want to set up your controls, just configure your gamepad. Right there in the gamepad section, you can map your controller one by one, the buttons, okay? And basically, you just need to open your game. Double click on the screen to make it full screen so you can play, and wait for the PPUs and also the shaders to compile, okay? And that's basically it, guys. That's the secret for you to play PlayStation 3 on your phone. Remember, everything you need will be in the pinned comment, okay? Check out the pinned comment there. Leave your like if you enjoyed it, man. What do you think about this evolution on Android, man? It's running PlayStation 3 on top of a PC emulator on top of Android. Is crazy, man. So leave your comment here about what you thought of this video, what you think about PlayStation 3 emulation. I think we're really close to PlayStation 3 emulation for phones, and I think we're leveling up, right, man? We're running PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games, so I don't think it's impossible to run PlayStation 3 games. However, PlayStation 3 emulation is really complicated. It's pretty tricky even for PC, alright? Basically, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave your like if you did. Subscribe to the channel. It's really important. We're on our way to 1 million subscribers. Your subscription is really important. And now Cristiano Ronaldo has arrived on YouTube. So he's going to break YouTube. And it's going to get harder and harder. So help us out. Leave your like. And that's basically it. God bless you all. See you next time. I'm out.